Good morning.
Good morning.
How much are they paying you to be here?
Excuse me? What is your name, son?
Gerald.
Well, Gerald, I think you're afraid.
Are you telling us this stuff so we can buy your book? Because I gotta tell you, if you are, that was some of the worst advice I ever heard.
You see how sad this is?
I want your sister to lose weight, tell her to get off the couch, stop eating Twinkies, and maybe go out for field hockey. You know what? No one ever knows what they want to be when they grow up. You know, it takes a little while to find that out, right, Jim? And you. Yeah, you. You're sick of some jerk shoving your head down the toilet. Well, you know what? Maybe you should lift some weights or take a karate lesson, and the next time he tries to do it, you kick him in the balls.
Son, do you see this?
Right.
This is an anger prisoner, a textbook example.
Prisoner.
Do you see the fear, people? This boy is scared to death of the truth. Son, it breaks my heart to say this, but I believe you're a very troubled and confused young man. I believe you are searching for the answers in all the wrong places.
You're right, actually. I am I'm pretty troubled and I'm pretty confused, but I'm afraid, really afraid. Really afraid, but I think you're fucking Antichrist.
Alright, somebody who doesn't get it may ask, why am I making this video? And I'm doing it because it's educational in a multitude of ways, actually, and to put the brakes on this type of thinking so that people don't fall for it. Because you never know who is on the fence and maybe watching this, trying to figure things out. We have 14,000 subscribers now, and you would be surprised at who is actually paying attention to these videos, so it's important to do. There are multiple ways that these sock puppet operators operate, and what I'm going to show you is just one of the ways. The entertaining way is by making completely crazy and baseless statements, and the attempt is to make anyone who checks this stuff out think that the base of people interested in this are a bunch of lunatics. It's actually funny and entertaining watching them make insane things up. They'll like post-bomb for a 2-hour period some of the funniest shit you've ever read. In fact, I just read one saying that people are throwing their voices like you'd see in the ads in old-time comic books. Like, I seriously laughed out loud about that for about 10 minutes. Another way is the dark, dramatic role. You know, they'll say,
I can't imagine the fear you felt when you first found this. You must have been terrified. We're all doomed. It can't be stopped.
Actually, I was laughing and joking when I first found that and thought it was amusing, and then I went out and worked on my car. It's always extremes and caricatures of humanity, and that is how they operate. So now to the amazingly ridiculous comment that inspired this video. So a very, very recent comment about the SWAT rep. It was just posted. It says,
if you need all those tools and programs, I don't think this is legit. If it really sounded like that, you would simply have to amplify it.
Wow, that is the dumbest shit I've ever read in my life. Now, just like anybody else, there are many things that I'm not educated in. Imagine if I went to chemistry forums and told chemists,
all you need to do is mix the stuff together, man. All these programs, mathematics, and equipment aren't necessary. Your chemistry isn't legit.
you know, totally oversimplifying and tarting out due to my ignorance on the subject. Well, I don't do that, but the retards out there do, and I'm done with retards. And why am I being a ruthless prick about this? Well, I thought maybe Zach here was a noob, a lazy noob who had no time to search, watch other videos, or even learn something. But after clicking on his channel, I realized that his subscriptions were public. So then I decided that I was going to go check out my subscriber listing to see when he actually subscribed, because it had the little subscription symbol next to it, right? And I hid the other subscribers here, but I found Zach, who goes by Fat Zach, had subscribed September 14th, 2018. September 14th, 2018. No motherfucker could ever be subscribed that long and not get it. just not get it at all. You have no idea how any of this audio stuff works. You have no idea what you're talking about. That is literally like saying that you don't believe in radio waves because it takes a lot of these transistors, resistors, and different types of electronic parts to bring each station to a clear and listenable state. Because of course you should just be able to amplify the radio and hear it, right? It's like saying that you don't believe in diabetes because you should just be able to see it, and it shouldn't take all these tests and equipment to show it. You know, it's fucking ridiculous. I have been explaining this since I began doing this, that when you pick up this mechanical signal, it is like hearing 1,000 voices at once. Not only are you dealing with that, you are also dealing with the bombardment of ELF and severe ambient noise due to our modern lifestyle. So if I just amplified it, as you state, the ambient sound would overpower everything. Here is a version of the raw signal that I recorded with the SWAT Rat, just at the raw signal. The other programs and equipment you speak of are to tune in, to get into those frequencies, block out some, focus on one, because when you get the raw signal, it sounds like thousands of voices, which I have said for years and years. Here's an example of that. You can hear all those voices just chattering on and on and on. So what you're saying is literally like saying that radio is not legit and doesn't exist because you should just be able to turn up radio. It doesn't make sense. And people need to realize that comments like this do not make sense. And if somebody didn't know, it could fool them into believing that this is somehow fake. When you're using a brick wall limiter, for example, you are blocking out certain frequencies. Brick wall, like stop it. That's what it does. It stops the frequencies. So let's say I need to get rid of 0 to 200, then get rid of 400 to 8,000, and just leave that little thin frequency band in there. Then that's what I need to do. A lot of it is used for tuning in and seeing what's there before you start really digging. So when you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, you shouldn't open your fucking mouth. Like I said, I don't go to chemistry forums and run my trap at chemists. Yeah. You know, it is just absurd. And on top of that, I've also explained since the beginning that this sound rides on ambient noise, and you need to separate that and suppress it. What I do with this gear is no different than how a radio tunes into a specific station. And also, a microphone and a recording program are not human ears. They do not hear the same things. They do not pick up the same tone or frequencies. So the idea of just amplifying it is asinine. So it's educational for people to read comments like that and to understand that that type of thinking is double-think bullshit. There is no way that somebody has been subscribing to this channel since 2018 and they just don't get it. But what is even more insane about your claims is the fact that I have been catching these with average microphones and recorders for years, and just uploaded a video not more than like a week or two ago showing the fact that you can pick these up with a $10 USB, and the audible voices that jump up in those type of recordings happen to be one voice that rides up on the ambient sound or the ELF in the vicinity. Just in this last video, Weaponized Surveillance, Haunted Houses, and You, I showed the spooky Fat Albert demon laugh that I recorded with a regular microphone. You didn't need to push it up. It just rose up on the ambient sound and was recordable. Here it is. So what the SWAT Rat does is allows you to not wait for something to rise up on the ambient sound, but it allows you to get into the frequency, the mess of voices, and pull the one up that's loudest in the mix, the one that is being projected to that area specifically, and then you can focus on that voice. That is what it's for. Otherwise, if you just push everything up, you're going to have the ELF that's coming off the power grid. It's going to overpower everything because a microphone is not a human ear. A microphone is a microphone. They are not the same thing. They're not even close to the same thing. So, the scumbag angle of this is the fact that the comment was put there hoping that other people on the fence might see it and take this logical appearing ignorance to heart. Then hopefully go back to like Missing Persons Mysteries videos. Well, I'm going to make sure that everybody not only sees it, but I'm also going to make sure that everybody sees your logic get plowed through. Because if you've really been checking this channel out and somehow came to this conclusion without knowing the first thing about the equipment or programs you speak of, you are either a sock puppet operative or an incredibly thick human being. Either way, you should unsubscribe and stop viewing this type of material entirely, because you're slowing down the progress of all mankind and you are speaking straight out of your fucking ass. I would rather have 100 subscribers who get it than 5,000 who don't. And I refuse to go back and forth with some clown or operative in a comment section so he can ignore key facts, bend statements, lie, play semantics, or any other games. I will just squash it publicly, because answering the question in a video has nothing to do with you or your games. It's actually educational for the people interested in this. Coincidentally, none of you people ever have your own channels. And if you do, it's just a mishmash of videos that you stole from other people to make your identity appear more genuine. The tards out there psyoping and operating against this kind of thing are losing steam, they're losing ammo, and they're losing the fight, and they know it. And that's why you are seeing stuff like this now. If any rational human being spent a month studying the evidence on this channel, they would totally walk away knowing that something was up. It may take them a while to digest it all, but they would get it eventually. So Fat Zach and his ridiculously stupid comment don't even really matter. It's actually a chance for me to take something like this and then explain it to you what is going on with the SWAT rat. When you listen to that raw signal and you hear those hundreds of voices, you either get that signal with all those voices in it, as I've shown you in the past, or you get one voice that jumps up on the ambient noise and speaks. So after all these years, I have figured out a way to get at the signal and then take that voice, that loudest voice out of them, and isolate it while blocking out the rest of the voices. So the closest one, the loudest one, is coming through by itself without interference. It's that simple. That's what it does. That's how it works. It's no different than, imagine hearing every radio station at once, but you narrow and narrow and narrow, and then pretty soon you can hear 101.1 FM by itself, clear. It's the same thing as working with radio, you're just working with audio. So that is such a stupid fucking comment to make. The dumbest comment I've ever read. It's not the most insane one, it's the dumbest one. The NSA actually uses a technique where they take audio recordings and they strip it down until they can hear the electrical hum in the recording. That is pretty much the same thing I do, except now I'm doing it live. Like literally live, I can do it. Clearly. Now, they go down into the recording, find the electrical hum, and they can tell where you're at by that. They can track people, tell the time, where they're at by the audio. And it would be like me saying that since they have to use equipment to do that, that it's not real. It's just fucking stupid. And I figured that this would be a great time to explain this a little bit further, how it works and what it does. I do not believe this to be a real fucking person. And I don't care if they say, yeah, I'm real. I don't believe it. Because if they are, they're admitting that they're the dumbest person alive. And I hope you learned something from this. That's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
Come on! Go on, do it!
Come on, do Nazi stuff.
Yeah, why won't he do the Nazi stuff?
Look out for Charlie.